This is Paul McGann, and you're listening to the Fiveish Fangirls podcast.
The tangents this week continue all the way to episode 431 of the Fiveish Fangirls podcast. People of Red Rocket Rising, my fellow citizens, our long night is over. I've been contacted by benevolent people. They too have known great trials, but they have overcame them and made it their mission to help others do the same. They have offered us refuge and passage to the nearest human worlds. They have the resources and the patience and compassion to evacuate every one of us. I couldn't help but laugh when I was listening to this. My fellow citizens, my friends, rescue is at hand. Oh, how wrong she is.
Yeah.
But we will get to that.
You know what's coming, and you're just like, no.
Yes.
No. Your definition of rescue versus my definition of rescue.
Yeah, you keep using that word. It doesn't mean what I think you think it means. So.
Exactly, yes.
Welcome everyone to this week's episode of the Fiveish Fangirls podcast. So glad you could join us. Let's start off like we do every week with the virtual table and see who's joined us this week.
This is Chrissy in Salt Lake City.
This is Holly from Wisconsin.
And this is Rachel in Indianapolis, Indiana. Hello everyone.
Hi, everybody.
Welcome to September.
Yeah.
Oh, it's actually cooling off here. I know.
Not here.
Yay, I want to stay cooled off because September has a bad habit of
Wednesdays today it's supposed to get cool for me.
All I know is according to one of my friends who's a real big fan, they had posted a picture from Instagram, and we're 4 days into September, and Billie Joe Armstrong is not asleep waiting for September to end. So unless you know your Green Day song, that's not gonna be funny. So she's like, he's not asleep. Somebody keep him awake.
I'm like, I actually like September.
Yes. So yeah. Yep. New month. So we are going to do this things.
Yes.
First up is in news. Which
fortunately with a bit of 10 o'clock news.
Yeah. Hopefully everybody took their shaker of salt, maybe tossed sprinkled a little or tossed it over their shoulder for good luck. But yeah, Jimmy Buffett has passed away at the age of 76. I was never a parrot head. I was a huge fan of the restaurant, because he had two restaurants. He has the Margaritaville chain, which those still exist in places. But they also had Cheeseburger in Paradise, and we had one down by us, and I loved it. Like, that was Chauncey's and I's go-to for like Valentine's Day. And then I guess at some point Jimmy the Cheeseburger in Paradise like license was still his, but he no longer actually like had anything to do with those chains of restaurants. So like the quality went downhill. And eventually they closed. It's now a Mexican restaurant that I've not been in. But I loved their sliders, like their mini cheeseburgers. And then their potato chips were sweet potato.
Oh, nice.
Potato chips, which were so good. And then they had these dessert nachos that were the most amazing thing ever. And of course, they had margaritas the size of your head,
of course,
among other things. So yeah, when it was at its peak, it was fantastic. So even if I wasn't necessarily a parrot head, I enjoyed the restaurant. And I've eaten at a Margaritaville or two in my life as well.
Yeah.
They're okay. Unless, as far as the food is concerned, but I mean, obviously if you like margaritas the size of your head, which I am a fan of,
if you are indeed
definitely. Yes.
Yeah,
I do like the statement posted by his people, though, that they made sure to mention that he passed away peacefully on the night of September 1st, surrounded by his family, friends, music, and dogs.
Yes. The last TikTok he posted was of him singing a song about dogs and then him and all his cabbies.
Yeah.
It was something.
Yeah.
And
Jimmy Buffett, he was kind of one of those, like, I don't really know what genre you would put him in, because he played rock, he played pop, he even played country.
He was his own genre.
He was his own genre,
thing, and like you said, I'm like, I wouldn't call myself a big Jimmy Buffett fan, but a lot of his songs are just good toe tappers, and you see, find yourself kind of humming along, Mark.
And
I believe technically now on like Spotify and stuff, he would be considered yacht rock.
Yes, that's where he would be put. Yes.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was a thing, and now
it is now. It wasn't at the time. So.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean,
and his thing, and he was like, I heard one person call him like he's the patron saint of summer, and I'm like, well, if as long as summertime is nice and chill and you're having a good time, if it's stupid hot.
I saw someone's comment, I think on Twitter, that it's like the fact that Jimmy Buffett passed away on a Friday going into a 3-day holiday weekend is the most Jimmy Buffett thing ever.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
And on Labor Day, because he had the song "Come Monday," which talked about him playing a Labor Day show.
Yeah.
And I mean, he dipped his toe into acting. I mean, the cameo that he had in Jurassic World, maneuvering with the margaritas.
Yep.
Save the margaritas.
He guest starred in one episode of Blue Bloods playing, get this, a Jimmy Buffett lookalike con man. And then Brittany will back me up on this. He played Frank Bama in the Hawaii Five-0 reboot. So he was a friend of Steve McGarrett's, and he showed up in a few episodes.
Cool.
Yes. And he was
Jimmy Buffett's going to be on TV. It's going to be on a show set in Hawaii.
Exactly. Yes.
So I mean, I didn't even realize he was sick or anything like that, because I don't know, 76 seems a bit young, although I know it really isn't.
It's skin cancer, unfortunately.
It was
a very aggressive form of skin. So wear your sunscreen, kids.
Yeah, because they had just released that yesterday as his cause of death.
Yeah. I had missed that.
Yeah, everybody kind of knew something was up when he canceled quite a few of his shows. So,
yeah, it was a really aggressive form of skin cancer. So don't play Russian roulette when it comes to sun exposure, kids. You know, if you have to go outside, limit it. Wear sunscreen. Wear a hat.
Sunscreen.
Sunglasses.
All that good stuff.
all that fun stuff. Because he's not the only celebrity that unfortunately has experiences with sun cancer. Because Hugh Jackman has had to have spots removed from his nose several times. A couple of times. So
So yes, if you are prone to sunburn like I am,
and they do make UV protective clothing now that's got the UV protection built in. It's a little on the pricey side, but hey, get it if that's one thing you want to have to worry about less.
So R.I.P. Jimmy Buffett, and we will, when the trumpets sound, we will listen for a nice chorus of Margaritaville, because I swear that's why God wanted you up in heaven, because the angels, the choirs of angels singing hymns and praise and all that stuff is great. It's good and awesome, But yeah, we needed a few rousing rounds of even cheeseburger in paradise.
Paradise, yeah.
When the heavens finally do open.
Or to really confuse them, fins to the left, fins to the right, and people
To the
will be
right.
like, what, huh?
But,
Fins?
yeah.
Sharks?
Or-
Sharknado? What?
Or volcano. Or volcano. The volcano song. I don't know where I'm gonna go when the volcano blows. Big blue TARDIS. That's my answer. Big blue TARDIS.
Yep.
Do you know where you're gonna go?
Yes.
So, I mean, it is sad, but I also feel like everybody's just kind of getting in the spirit of just what his music and stuff was about. Because we're singing his songs, we're making jokes, we're, just kind of having a little bit of a laugh while we also mourn and grieve. But yeah, so go listen to some of his tunes, even if you're not familiar with the man. You'll be singing and clapping along.
Yeah, everybody, at least, even if you don't necessarily know the words to Margaritaville, the minute he says, lost shaker of salt, you can go, salt, where's the damn salt?
Yes.
Just like going ba 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 during Sweet Caroline. You may not know the words, but you know the bit where you're supposed to be really loud.
Yep.
Yes,
and you may or may not know whose fault it is.
Yeah. It's somebody's fault.
Yep.
Alrighty. Now I kind of want a margarita. Anyway.
After the episode, Rachel.
Yeah, I know. Because I don't think I have any tequila. I think I used it all. First world problems. All right, moving on.
Early.
Yeah. Well, it takes me a couple years to go through a bottle. Really the only thing we got a new look at season 2 of Loki, which looks like it's just gonna be kind of batshit crazy.
Yep.
I'm here for it.
I mean, this is Loki we're talking about here. I mean,
yeah. I mean, with Loki, it's always going to be kind of batshit crazy anyway. But when you're talking about the TVA and everything, it's like, this is going to be fun. Bouncing around from time to time,
and we thought the Celestial Intelligence Agency was bad.
Yeah,
the TVA is giving them a run for their money.
Yeah.
It.
So, but yeah, it looks like it's gonna be a lot of fun. So it'll be here before you know it. Actually, slightly over a month. So which is good. So there have also been supposedly some other Marvel release updates. I have not been able to find anything official, so I think
add
they're
it. Basing it. Yeah, so they're what I understand is they're basing it on, there's a website somewhere that has them all listed and the dates, what has been announced, but then a few of them have been taken off, and there's doesn't seem to be an explanation as to why.
Right.
So yeah, until we
get something official,
right?
Just make sure that stuff's written in pencil.
Yeah, they're kind of being a little cagey about that. So just like you said, pencil.
Yes, just write everything in pencil. That's all you really can do. So I mean, I totally expect there to be delays and schedule changes.
Dune has been officially moved back, so there's going to be, just because of the strikes and all that stuff. So there are going to probably be other things that are going to get moved around, not just from all the different studios, I would imagine.
Yeah,
nothing's been said concrete. So.
Yeah, but unless we hear it from official sources, we will continue as what we know.
We will Okay, I always butcher this one. We will act as though it continues to spin on.
Yeah, pretty much. That's I just take the Nick Fury, perspective on a lot of things. Is like until the time that the world ends, we will continue as we will act as it is going to continue on. So there is that. But we are in a new month, so that means book club updates.
Yes, and I called an audible considering that the book club choice for last month was Blood of the Daleks Part 1. I went and said this month was going to be Part 2, and voting for next month for October it'll be coming.
Well, and if you prepped for this week, although I don't know that we announced it, your homework assignment is already done.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's what we're going to be reviewing today, but not before we get to back.
Yeah,
unless there's something else.
Yep. So we've got a feedback from Shalane, because of course, the minute we talk about a musical, Shalane is on it. So she says, already another musical this year. So far, you girls have done The Music Man, Les Mis, and Beetlejuice. Yes, and then more coming. Maybe sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
So it's funny because it's 15 years of the first Mamma Mia and 5 years of the second Mamma Mia that may have been on purpose. Anyway, I love Mamma Mia because my and Chrissy's mom and our aunts are the real life Donna and the Dynamouse.
Well, how do I put this nicely? I love my aunts. I love them dearly. My mom and her sisters are a hoot together. I wouldn't really call them the Donna and the Dynamouse, because they're a little. Nah, I'm not gonna say it. There are similarities, but I wouldn't go that far. I'll just
yeah. She says
this
our
is
mom
recorded
and her
for posterity.
Yeah. She says our mom and our sisters grew up with ABBA, and they love Mamma Mia and ABBA. We saw the first Mamma Mia at the drive-in. Years later, we saw the stage version at the theater I work at. The theater did Mamma Mia years before I worked there. I also own a Mamma Mia shirt.
She owns more than a shirt.
Yeah. The jukebox musicals I love are Mamma Mia, Footloose, and Moulin Rouge. I've only seen a stage version of Mamma Mia. I need to see Footloose and Moulin Rouge. Moulin Rouge did come to Utah this past year, and I didn't get to go see it, and I really, really want to. I also want to see Beautiful, the Carole King musical. The theater I worked did it this past summer. I got too busy and missed it. One jukebox musical I would love to see is Tina Turner to honor her passing, which that is coming through Indianapolis in the next season. So anyway, back to Mamma Mia. I love that Cher got to be the grandma because her and Meryl Streep are friends. There's also a Cher soundtrack of her doing cover songs of ABBA. Well, that's cool. I was also sad that Donna died in the second one, and I love her flashbacks of her when she was young, when she met her 3 boyfriends. I love her hairstyle. Also, Lily James is Cinderella in the Disney live-action Cinderella. So if you wonder where you've seen her face before, that is where. And she's also great as young. Yeah.
I was going to say, she's also in a season of Downton Abbey, or maybe 2 seasons.
Yeah.
But yeah, she was in that one too.
Yeah. And she was great as young Donna, and Lily does look like Meryl Streep. Also, Meryl Streep is into the Woods movie. Also, Julie Waters is in Mary Poppins Returns, along with Meryl Streep and Colin Firth. Yes, that is true. Other jukebox musicals I would love to see are & Juliet, which is What If Juliet Never Died in Romeo and Juliet, and Once Upon a Hit Me Baby One More Time. Fun fact, both musicals have Britney Spears songs. Well, & Juliet has a few of her songs, but Once Upon a Hit Me Baby One More Time has all Britney hits. Yes, I've seen a performance from like the Today Show, I think, in the Hit Me Baby One More Time, and I was very amused that because it's oh crap, now I'm blanking on his name. What's his face that came in second to Kelly Clarkson the very first season of American Idol.
Okay, hold on.
He's like the lead. Justin Guarini.
Okay.
I knew I would get it.
There was a movie with both their names in the title. What
it's like
was
from
it?
Kelly. I was like, I'll get it. Kelly. He's also the little spokesperson for Dr. Pepper for a while there. So I saw a performance of from like the Today Show or something where they did circus. I thought it was really cool. So what next musicals have you girls got planned? I'm guessing Hairspray, Little Shop of Horrors. Well, that would be telling, wouldn't it, Shalane?
Yeah.
You're just gonna have to wait and see.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite ABBA songs: Dancing Queen, Mamma Mia, Lay All Your Love on Me, Does Your Mother Know, Name of the Game, Take a Chance, Honey Honey, Fernando, and When I Kiss the Teacher. Yes, there's a TikTok filter where it tells you which ABBA song you are, and I got Waterloo on the first try. I was very excited. It's like, that's
You're like, it's like you
the
got
algorithm,
it,
it
right.
knows me.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of Price is Right, I also had a couple of friends that went on the Price is Right, but they didn't come on down. Oh, darn. When I was younger, I watched the Price is Right with my mama. At first, I thought it was live like the news, but no, it was recorded days before it was aired. Yeah. I do have a feeling that they might do honor for Bob Barker for his 100th birthday. Also, Bob Barker wrote a book. I'm not surprised. Someone with his life surely should have written a book at some point.
I was going to say it is a traumatic thing to realize that The Price is Right is not live.
Yeah.
I think everybody, when they're young, they think, "Oh, this is like happening right now." No,
Yep.
but you think that of most TV before you understand how TV works.
Yeah.
Although maybe kids nowadays are like they don't even think about it because it's all on streaming and YouTube.
Yeah. Last thing, Pierce Brosnan did play a character in an animated movie that did sing, but he didn't do the singing. Someone else did.
As happens in many animated.
Yes. That does happen. Yeah. It's easier to get away with that in animation.
Yes.
Where it's not so obvious that the singing voice and the talking voice are not the same. Little harder with live action, so.
Yeah, well, I mean, the animators can sync up the voice or the singing to whoever's voice, same way they'd sync it up to the talking. So
yes,
it all works.
Yep. Thank you, Shalane, for your feedback. Yes, there are going to be more musicals coming, but that's our secret to keep zipped up for now.
Yep.
Spoilers.
Yep.
Spoilers, sweetie.
Yep. So for now, we are going to move on to this week's main topic. Hold on. I just realized my computer's come unplugged. The battery's dying. There we go.
Oh no.
Yeah.
That's not good. That's not good.
That's because it's down by my foot and I have a habit of kicking it, and every so often it comes unplugged. So no biggie. Anyway, crisis averted. At least as far as that's concerned. So, but not so much for the inhabitants of Red Rocket Rising. There's my segue, which is the location for Holly's Big Finish pick, as her birthday is coming up in a few days as we're recording this.
Yes, it is. Yes.
So happy birthday, Holly.
Thank you.
So have on the actual day, have a fun day. And also, we're going to talk Big Finish audio, Big Finish Doctor Who. And this is
Eighth Doctor Adventures and the introduction of a new companion.
Yes.
Yeah, so this is Eighth Doctor and Lucie Miller. So this was so for a long time, the main range was the 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th Doctors. Well, 5th, 6th, 7th. Then they had the 8th Doctor and Charlie. And then they spun off the 8th Doctor into his own line with a new companion, Lucie Miller. Yes. And and this is where this one starts. And I think it was actually aired on, is it BBC 4 that's the radio?
7.
Okay. Oh, 7. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Apologies. I'm a bit rusty with my BBC.
Yeah.
stations or whatever you call them.
Yeah, so it's the first time that they had ever teamed up to do something like this with Doctor Who, but they wanted to shake things up a little because at this point, this is 2007, so Doctor Who, the TV series, had been back on the air for a couple of years. Christopher Eccleston had done his tenure as the Doctor at this point. David Tennant is the Doctor on people's TVs. The fact that the Doctor is referred to as Casanova in this may or may not be a little wink and nod to the fact that David Tennant has played Casanova.
Yeah.
That's because RTD had been doing Casanova and David Tennant was playing Casanova, and there's a story that goes that David was like telling Russell, "Hey, I'll just be a Cyberman in the back, but I gotta be in Doctor Who." Not that they were looking for the next Doctor anyway.
Yeah.
So
or the fact
that
the fact at one point that Lucy accuses the Doctor's hair of not being his actual hair, which I think in some way is a bit of a jab to the horrible wig that Paul McGann wore in the TV movie,
which
he actually hated.
Yes, we all kind of hate it.
Yeah. And when she's listing off, the hair, the cravat, the cape, I'm just like, okay, are we referencing the 3rd Doctor here, or are we referencing the 8th Doctor? Or are we doing a bit of both?
Like, was he already changing out his outfit in certain ways, or what's going on here? But so yeah, Paul McGann's Doctor has had a couple of different outfits. But it's all been, illustrated on the covers of Big Finish for the
yes,
But they wanted to. So at this point, they were wanting to. If you listen to the behind the scenes stuff, which I listened to it on Spotify, and the people that put it on there were nice enough to include the CD extras.
Well, that's good, because my copy doesn't have all those.
Yeah, they wanted to kind of go back to old school Who with a bigger story arc, a multi-story kind of series with an overreaching arc. So this introduction of Lucie Miller as, the reluctant companion on both sides, because the Doctor doesn't want her there, she doesn't want to be there,
right?
But because the Time Lords can't keep themselves from meddling, especially when it comes to the Doctor, but they're pompous, holier in their attitudes, who think that they can do whatever the hell they want. These two are stuck together, but at the same time, they also have the introduction of the headhunter.
Yeah.
So there's going to be this ongoing thing that we'll learn more about as we go through more of the Lucie Miller 8th Doctor stories. So, and
it also differentiates Lucy from Charlotte Pollard, because towards, probably around this time area, they were kind of getting a little too close, shall we say?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think it ever crossed into, kissing in the TARDIS, but it was implied in some of those stories. But it was like, oh, these two actually don't like each other from the get-go.
Right.
I mean, they get spoilers. They do get better as you go along.
Yeah.
But this one, it's very much, Lucy is not happy to be there. Let's just say
that. It's kind of like almost kind of telegraphing the 10th Doctor meeting Donna Noble on her wedding day. They're both not happy.
Yeah, exactly.
What in the hell are you doing here? What in the hell am I doing here?
What? And the Doctor's like, Time Lords, come get her. Don't want her here.
Yeah.
You've had your laugh. Get her out of here. But yeah. So that's going on. Lucy's in the TARDIS. We don't know how. We don't know why. Other than Time Lord shenanigans. And then cut to this human colony on a planet or called Red Rocket Rising, and then they're all like everyone's dying.
Which the planet itself is not in the best shape because an asteroid hit it, and that caused essentially the same thing that happened to the dinosaurs here, essentially, where it killed most of everything living. So like there's no plant life and water, all the resources. A lot of people burned up when the asteroid first hit, and now it's gone into kind of the equivalent of like a nuclear winter. And really their leader, their president of this planet, is trying to do the best she can, but they're dire circumstances, so there's only so much she can do, and really they just need to leave the planet because it's just not habitable anymore. So you've got this Eileen Clint, who's the acting president, who is being chased essentially by the people who are like, you've done a terrible job, so we're gonna beat you up. That's gonna fix anything. Meanwhile, meanwhile she's literally handcuffed to this assistant of this scientist who was doing experiments, and Asha, who's played by Haley Atwell. So that was really fun to hear. I was like, it's Peggy.
So if you're listening to this and you're like, I know that voice, where do I know that voice? That's who it is, Peggy Carter.
Yeah, because it's Agent Carter.
And then another voice that I didn't realize until later on, Anita Dobson, Mrs. Sir Brian Mate, is a voice. I was like, oh, I completely forgot she did Doctor Who.
Yeah. So you just never know who's going to pop up at Big Finish,
No.
Could be a future star of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It could be, the wife of, PhD guitarist of
extraordinaire.
Yeah. You just never know.
No.
So.
I gotta say, I bet the Big Finish headquarters or the studios is probably a fun place just to hang out, because you're just like, dude, I just saw so and so going by. Something like that. So,
I'd imagine that's what it's like. I just like to sit around and people watch and be like, oh, what are you doing? Well, who's that?
or get a sneak peek at their dream list of who they want to come on and do voices.
Yeah. So there you go. So anyway, and so this planet, and
bad shape.
Obviously,
need some help.
Yeah, bad shape. And they're calling for help, and obviously we know who's going to show up eventually, but they're all like, but there's all these different transmissions and things going on, and the Doctor hears parts of it, but then just when they say, oh, this is who's coming, and it's the and it gets garbled out or interrupted, and we're like, oh no. But the Doctor's like, I need to hear who that was, and he gets carted off somewhere else. Very frustrating, much to his frustration and consternation.
Yeah, because it's like it's bad enough that he's in the TARDIS, and all of a sudden the TARDIS is knocked off of the whatever flight plan she was on, and Lucie appears, and she immediately just starts berating the Doctor, insulting his driving ability, talking about how some of the consoles held together by tape.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the Doctor being very protective of the TARDIS, and
right.
like, pay no attention to her, girl. It's like, okay, I'm seeing foreshadowing of the doctors talking to the TARDIS in the future.
Yeah, apologizing profusely.
Yes.
And then realizing that he
You
can't take
know.
her home to 2006.
He's stuck with her.
So instead, when he tries to take her home 2006, they literally bounce off of this shield that the Time Lords have put on, and they end up at this planet, and it's like the Doctor already has his hands full, and Lucie's she's obviously not telling him all the information because she lets it slip that she knows he's a Time Lord, which I caught that. I was like, you never told her that.
Right.
Well, and he's like, how do you know? And she's like, oh.
Yeah. And then he also catches her. She's like, oh, different planet. It's like, wait a minute, what? I thought
like, well, you must
have told me the 90s or whatever. And she's like, no, 2006. It's like,
which, at this point, the Doctor has been flitting around Earth quite a bit. So unlike Donna, who was completely clueless to like anything and everything that's ever happened within like her neighborhood for this, that, the other reason, you can see that maybe Lucie is maybe a bit more aware of the strange happenings that have occurred on the island of England. Even if she is not from London, she's from the north, which they specifically wrote Lucie Miller as being from the north, not a Londoner, and they wanted to hire someone who had a northern accent. So that narrowed down the pool of people that could audition. But so Sheridan Smith, who plays Lucie, she had a leg up by being a northerner and getting the part. So, but yeah, it was like, finding out that essentially the Time Lords have stuck her with the Doctor in sort of this weird Time Lord witness protection program.
And we're not really sure why, but
why.
Clearly, that is the question for the series that we're going to dive into.
That, folks, is how we develop a plot.
Yes.
We now join the plot already in progress.
Kind of. So, but yeah, this was rather amusing knowing. I mean, obviously, it has the word Dalek in the title,
right?
So there's going to be Daleks involved somehow. But
it's gonna show up somewhere in the episode. You just don't know when.
And the way that all the people are talking about, our mysterious rescuer benefactor, it's like, that's the Daleks. Oh, they're a mystery. We don't know who they are. That's the Daleks. 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 Oh, yes, it's the Daleks. But, it's just kind of like, I'm not even mad. Like, I don't even. It's just kind of like how. At this point, it's sort of just how you do a Dalek story, because you gotta, build it up, and I think they do it. I think they do a good job of that. I think, they're like, it's not that the Daleks are going to show up. That's the big deal. It's like, what part are they actually going to play in the story? And what actually ends up happening with this particular Dalek story is, like, it borrows bits and pieces of other Dalek stories, but I think it uses it in a way that's not, it doesn't feel stale or derivative. It's like, oh, that's an interesting, different way of doing that. And I'm okay with it. It's creepy as hell.
Kudos to Nicholas Briggs, who we know does the voices for pretty much all of the Daleks, both on TV and in Big Finish. And like, if you know anything about the Daleks, with this being audio, obviously, but even if we could see it with Daleks, because there's no face to see, there's no facial expression to go by. You just have to go by the way they speak, which, the Dalek voice is very distinctive, but you could tell when the Daleks, when they receive this distress signal, that President Eileen has sent out, and like they're the only species or whatever to respond, and the Dalek that's communicating with Eileen is like, the Daleks are here to help. We're glad to be of assistance. And you could just kind of tell that what the Dalek is saying is against every fiber of their being. That's like, this is so against our nature.
Right. It's like, how do I not goof this up? Must not say exterminate.
Yes. Yeah.
We are here to be your overlords.
Yeah.
Well, they're overlords, yes, but they also need to destroy a particular creation of a certain scientist.
Impure Daleks.
As
far as they're concerned.
Because the scientist was trying to save the human race by replicating what the Daleks did to themselves and saying like, well, hey, if we can save ourselves by creating, this casing and making it so that we can, survive as these sort of warped creatures living in the tank, then because the Daleks did it, why can't we? And the Daleks and the scientist sends out the signal of like, hey, come here and look at what we did. It's like, aren't you proud of us?
Mm-hmm.
The Daleks are like, oh hell no.
Yeah.
It's like, that is my copyright.
Yeah.
Like, they're faster than a Disney lawyer on a fan artist.
Yeah. Yeah. I was like, this is not something that we are unfamiliar with. Either people, tampering with enemies that we've seen, talk about, Loomis, and the Cybermen, and we've even seen, genetic experiments with the Daleks. With the in other stuff. So, and we've also seen a Dalek that supposedly had been reprogrammed and did not want to kill anybody and everybody who was not a Dalek in sight, when it was being essentially Churchill's butler.
Yeah.
So
would you like some tea?
And it's like, it's just it's absolutely hilarious to see and to hear the Daleks act in a way that is so against the way we know they are essentially bred and engineered to act. That the Daleks are single-minded. Yes. And anything that diverts from that is just hilarious, because you know how wrong it is. And in this case, they know it's wrong.
Yeah.
It's, they're fighting against their natural instincts. And it's like, it's so funny.
Yeah. And it's just like, you're almost waiting for Marissa Tomei's character, for My Cousin Vinny, to go in and like, oh yeah, you blend.
It's funny because it's like, we've seen the Daleks, go on a rampage and exterminate and everything, but then, to do something different like this, you're like, okay, well, when does the exterminating start? Because we know it's gonna start. We know we've seen this movie before, and it's just a matter of when and how much and and how we're gonna save the day and all these things. It's just the idea is like, how do we make it interesting?
And who's going to be the first Dalek to lose their cool and take somebody out?
Yep. Who's going to get insulted first, and who's going to do the insulting? Most likely the Doctor, but there is a chance that it's going to be somebody else too. Well,
even once the Daleks find out that the Doctor is there, and they're trying to explain to Eileen that he's, a terrorist. And is responsible for genocide, and they're like, he must, it's like, he must be, and they want to say exterminate, but they're like, brought to justice.
Justice,
like,
It's like we know what you were going to say there, but
well,
we
and
can
it's
read
funny
between
because
the lines.
later when the Daleks finally do start saying, we're gonna kill everybody, exterminate, and the president is like, I'm going to bring the worst sanctions up against you, and I'm just like, honey, they do not care. It's like you can wave paper in front of them all you want. It ain't gonna do a lick of good.
Right. And whatever you think's going to take them out is not going to take them out.
Yeah, it is. It's so funny, and it's that's the thing with the Daleks is, some people are like, oh, they're one of the Doctor's oldest enemies, and they're so dangerous, and it's like, yeah, they are, but at the same time, it's like, I've seen the Daleks in so many situations. It's like, compared to some other Doctor Who adversaries, I wouldn't necessarily be that scared if I came across a Dalek, because they're just kind of ridiculous. So, and this is definitely one of those situations where it's like, yeah, really,
I mean,
is that how you think this is gonna go?
Mostly they're just mad that somebody copied their homework
and taking all the credit for it
and taking all the credit for it. But yeah, because they're just kind of like, nope, you're not real Daleks. You're all gonna die. And the Doctor is even like somewhat in agreement with him, like, yeah, this lab needs to be destroyed for different reasons, obviously, just because of what's going on there. But it's like, so in that way, it's actually fascinating because, again, the Doctor and the Daleks kind of have a similar goal. They just, it's for different reasons, but also the same sort of reasons, I guess. I don't know how to really frame that.
Yeah.
Well, because,
I mean, the Doctor knows the Doctor knows that, because when they get it down to like a handful of Daleks left, and Lucie's like, well, isn't that good?
Enough?
Isn't that good enough? And it's like, no, they're just like, they're you can't have even one left behind.
Imagine if rabbits got nuclear weapons and they were going to use them, and they just kept multiplying, and the rabbits like wanted to destroy the entire universe. That's kind of what Daleks are. Only
that's a very good analogy, Chrissy. Very good.
Imagine if the Tribbles from Star Trek.
Yeah. Yes.
That too. If the Tribbles were going to kill everybody.
Yes.
Well, on purpose. I should clarify, because the Tribbles would eventually kill everybody, just not intentionally.
Yeah, but the Tribbles had homicidal tendencies. Yeah.
They'll lull you into a false sense of security with their humming, and then when nobody's the wiser, boom.
Yeah. So there you go. So, but then you have the fun twist, which I'd actually forgotten about because it'd been a hot minute since I'd listened to this one, and I was like, oh right, this is that one where the scientist who started all this, now I'm blanking on what his name was, actually transferred his brain power, his consciousness, into his assistant's head. So all of a sudden,
Martez,
yeah.
Professor Martez.
I know it started with an M, and I was like, what? But yes, Professor Martez is now in Haley Atwell's head. And all of a sudden, she's going around screaming about, I'm saving the world. I did this, and this is what we're gonna do. And like, oh no. And then the Doctor, like, oh, this is bad. We gotta stop this.
Yeah. It's only because a random Dalek ship crashed on the planet at some point in the past, and Professor Martez collected, the samples from the wreckage and was like, I can do something with this, and decided to go all Dr. Frankenstein.
Pretty much. Waste not, want not, I suppose.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's what they did, and they're like, "Hey,
So it's like,
this'll
hey,
save."
if I do a little, take this DNA, and then we take the DNA from the people on this planet, and if we do a little of this and add a little bit of that, and a little bit of browning on top, just for some color,
Salt and pepper
dash
to
salt,
taste.
a little bit of pepper, and voila, way to save everyone on the planet. And it's like,
Look,
that's not how this works.
It. We fixed
Yeah.
the problem. No, you didn't.
No, you just made a bigger problem.
Right. You thought you fixed the problem.
I mean, it's bad enough when you tamper with Dalek DNA, as we've seen in other stories, Doctor Who stories.
Oh, sweet niblets, yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But when the pure Daleks find out, that just creates a whole other mess.
Oh, yeah.
You done goofed, son.
Mhm.
Yeah. You thought the Daleks were ticked off. Oh, boy.
Yeah, and then, they finally like, unleashed their fury and just how pissed they are that this has happened, and like, how dare you mix pure Dalek DNA with this half-breed sort of thing.
Mhm.
You have to, and so, like, yeah, and then you come to find out, oh yeah, the Daleks, they actually caused that asteroid because they were trying to destroy the planet, and then it didn't quite work, but it didn't completely work, and they also blocked they blocked the distress signals, so nobody could hear them other than the Daleks. So these people are dying, because the Daleks are slowly killing them. Although they would probably much rather quicker, just like, get these abominations out of our face, or out of our eye stalks. So
in space,
kind of,
no one can hear you scream.
Right, yeah.
Right. So yeah, it just goes downhill from there. Which means that the tinfoil hat, Tom Caldwell.
Yeah.
Yes. That guy, he's like, been trying to warn everybody about the Daleks are coming, or some alien threat is coming, and he's trying to get them all to listen. But he's a wee bit.
Everybody thinks he's nuts, because he's literally running around with a tinfoil hat on.
Yeah, which does nothing to help your image.
Yeah.
As good as your intentions may be, and as much as you're probably right.
Yeah.
So Lucie meets him, and
unfortunately, the poor guy ends up losing his mind even more.
Yeah.
Kind of. So.
Well, he originally thinks that it's the Doctor that is the alien that's coming to.
Well, he's really just afraid of anything alien. Right. And he just assumes all aliens are the same, that they're all out to, like, enslave, more Earth type species, Terrans or whatever you want to call them.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, he's like, accusing the Doctor of like enslaving poor Lucie, and Lucie's like, no, I just met him.
Yeah.
Like, I just got here and I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's like, I'm new here.
Yeah.
Like, I know nothing. But he does end up helping too, so which is good. But yeah, and then they manage to stop the Daleks, both the engineered ones and the regular type. So, and then apparently another offer comes through for rescue for the inhabitants of Red Rocket Rising, whose name we never actually get to hear, but
we hear the first letter.
Well, we hear the first syllable, which sounds an odd, if it kind of,
they're from the edge of the solar system.
Yeah,
there are.
If it sounds kind of like Telos and looks kind of like
and barks like a dog on
probably is.
Telos.
It might be Telos.
Yeah.
Which is just
So
like,
yeah, Red Rocket Rising just can't catch a break.
no, they can't. No, they can't. But at that point, it's not the Doctor's problem anymore. So,
Well, it will be later, but
well, yeah, it will
Yeah.
be. But at the moment, it's not his problem because his biggest problem is being stuck with Lucy. So
yeah,
Right.
it's like, what are we gonna do with you?
she's like, I don't know. He's like, I can't
mean,
take you
to try
home.
to- yeah. So I guess
Like,
we
you
just
can't
gonna
go
have to
home,
let
but
this
you can't
play
stay
out.
here.
Right.
Like, well, how many episodes did BBC Seven order? Okay, well let's just get through this.
Yeah.
Mhm.
How many adventures do I have to take you on before we get to the finale and the poop hits the fan?
Right. And it's like, and something tells me I can't just have the TARDIS drop you off somewhere because the TARDIS is going to circle back and make sure you get back in.
Yes, because he did try to leave and it didn't work.
Yes.
So he finally just picked her up and like, okay, well, here we go. This is what we're doing then. I guess.
I don't want it, but if we have to, I will.
Yeah.
Like, man, this sucks. So anyway, Daleks go boom.
Yeah.
And there are heroes and bosses on all the sides, and it's just very sad. But that's sort of a rundown, pretty much a rundown of both parts.
Mm-hmm.
Which is funny because these episodes, or well, the stories, other than this one, which is the two-parter, most of these Lucie Miller, they talk to Lucie Miller things, they're like a little less than an hour long.
Right. But everything gets resolved at the end of the.
Yeah. So these are a lot shorter than the main range.
Mhm.
Because where those ones are like 2 hours. But with this first one where it's two parts, but it even seems a little shorter because they're not cutting it up into those 20-30 minute chunks in between like they do with the other ones. So it's just kind of interesting. Like, I think it kind of feels like they're the same amount of time, same length, but at the same time they're kind of not. Which is, it's just different. Just a different way of him doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Fun. And I like that Lucy is enough, like a lot of the Big Finish companions, they are just so much their own person, so different than, I mean, I wouldn't say that any companion is really the same as any other. I feel like they all have their own personalities and their own things. But but Lucie Miller is very unique and just, she's fun. She is a good time, and she's kind of one that seems a bit harsh and a little brash at the beginning, but you also kind of you get why that she's having all these. She's just dropped here, and like, she didn't ask for it. She didn't want to be here, and we kind of get the feeling that she doesn't have all of her memory.
Right.
Like bits and pieces start coming through.
And then later on, when the headhunter starts coming after her,
that one too.
That kind of amps her up. She's like, who can she trust? It's just like, okay,
Right.
Somebody doesn't want me here. Somebody wants me, but I don't know for what reasons and why. I mean, they're not being completely honest. Help!
Yeah. And and honestly, yes, she is, and she's just like a normal person caught up in whatever the crap is going on here. So it's like, we as the audience are like, it's okay, you can trust the doctor. He's gonna help you. He's gonna help you get out of this. But we can also say, oh, well, we know why she doesn't, because Time Lord, and the Time Lords got her into this mess. And even though we know the doctor isn't like those other Time Lords, she doesn't. And we're like, okay, it's one of those things like, I get it. I get why you're this way. I get why you don't trust anybody. But friend, you gotta trust somebody.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's just interesting as like, where this all ends up going.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's this one is just so good.
Yeah. Well, and the cool thing is they've actually re-teamed up and done a Further Adventures box set, which is good. I'm hoping they decide to do another down the road.
Yeah. It's like they're like that's kind of what they're doing is just box sets here and there and everywhere pretty much, which is fun, which is a good time. So, but
we'll definitely have to. We'll definitely have to come back to the Eighth Doctor and Lucy because I mean there's some good Big Finish audios that are part of this arc.
Yes.
Horror of Glam Rock and then Human Resources is really good. So
yes. And Grand Theft Cosmos.
It's
good.
there are some really fun things.
Yes.
And it's like it's all like there's 4 seasons. Seasons. So there's like a finale of each one, but so each story is self-contained in its own thing, but then there's also an overarching thing. So you can enjoy a story by itself and then go through the whole season, and the story ends at the end of that last season. So it's kind of like you feel like you can listen to the whole thing and not feel like, oh, I'm being strung along to another part because no, this is where it ends. So it's it's one of those that's like it's complete, you can enjoy it, and you're not going to be left hanging with some unresolved something or other. Right. This particular arc is done, which I quite like. So, it was something new they were kind of trying out at the time, and I think it worked out pretty well, and people really seem to enjoy it. And it's definitely worth revisiting. And no, is the whole thing on Spotify? I mean, I have my own copy, but
I mean, I listened to the entire thing, both parts on Spotify. So
okay, so like it's the whole CD,
and that included the CD extras. So
okay. So you can listen. But like, are there other episodes on Spotify?
As far as the Lucie Miller stuff.
That's what. Yeah,
probably.
Sorry, I didn't phrase that right, but if it's been out long enough, it feels like it's something they can just put up on Spotify and be like, "Here you go, guys." So if you don't have it,
when it's a good introduction to a new companion in a with a familiar adversary. So
so it's like there's just enough different, but also enough that's familiar. So if you are a Doctor Who fan and you're like, because sometimes it does. It takes a while for new companions to kind of click with you.
Yeah.
But if you you do have that familiarity.
I mean, you kind of have to go looking by title, but like Horror Glam Rock is on there. I found it.
It looks, I think, maybe just like the first season is available on Spotify.
I found part 1 of Human Resources. So yeah, there's a lot of Big Finish on Spotify. You just kind of have to look for it.
Pretty much,
it's not necessarily in one specific spot. So, I mean, there was like a quote unquote official Big Finish playlist at one point, but I found that stuff was missing, that it was incomplete. Yeah. So,
well, let's see.
You're much better off just looking for the specific title.
Mm-hmm. well, I'm just checking the Big Finish website, and I was seeing if like they were marked down or anything like that. But there are the Eighth Doctor Adventures. They're six for the downloads. They're $6.30 US. I'm sure whatever they are in the UK, you can figure that out. But or depending, so you can download it. That's.
Mm-hmm. I mean, they're relatively inexpensive because these are no longer in
they're
CD
not
version. Yeah, it's
or
just
you could
digital.
Or you could get the bundle, whereas if you get the first series, is like 45 and a half bucks. So that's not too bad for what you get.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I think the first series is so it's not super expensive. You just kind of pick and choose. And again, you're like, oh, you can go down this rabbit hole, and pretty much your basket is chock full of things, and soon you've spent over $100. So be careful. But I am saying, not that I haven't. I was like, not that I'm speaking from experience. I usually wait for the deals if I can manage that,
because they usually have flash deals. Because I'm slowly picking up stuff here and there to complete my.
And honestly, I would not be surprised if they start maybe doing more deals as we get closer to the 60th.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, and I know this month they're doing 30 deals half September. So every day there's a deal, and I think they last the whole month. So like if you missed out on the first few days, it's still there. So so you can so go check that out, or even better, subscribe to their newsletter, because then you'll get it all in your email. And even if you can't get it right now, and
follow them on Twitter, because if you sign up for their notifications, they will ping you on notifications, because I'll get the notification before I'll get the email. I'll get the Twitter notification before I get the email in my inbox. And it's like, okay.
So they make sure if you follow them, email or on social media, you will find out about the deal. So I cannot recommend that enough. Like even like there's been stretches I'm like, I can't afford anything right now, but I'm like, you know what? I'll just put a pin in this and see if we'll see how things turn out later. But
or just go in and click add to wish list. So when you take your wish list, you can take a look.
That's true too. When if you're having a birthday or Christmas or whatever's coming up, and people are like, what would you like? And you're like, I have a wish list.
Though the only downside is it doesn't remove stuff from your wish list once you've purchased it. You have to go in and delete.
So it's not like
that's the only downside.
Like Amazon, where like if someone buys from your list, like, oh, you bought this. Anyway, so do know about that. And yes, we're marketing for Big Finish, and they are not sponsoring us. I didn't know if they did, but we're just giving you some options and ideas and tips and tricks that we figured out.
Yes.
So please make use of our hard-earned knowledge.
Yes.
So anyway, Big Finish, Eighth Doctor and Lucie, lovely, wonderful. Go check it out.
Yes.
If all you can do right now is what's on Spotify, fine.
And thank you, ladies, for doing both parts.
Yes.
Because when I listen, it's like, oh crap, we can't end it like this.
No, you really can't. You really can't.
Well, and thankfully they're not super long.
So so I also have that going for me too. Yeah.
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 No, we would not leave people on a Big Finish cliffhanger.
That'd be bad.
Yes.
Very, very.
What do you mean we have to wait till our next birthday to get the last part? No.
We're not going to leave
listening more anyway.
We're not going to. We don't like to leave people hanging on anything. Who do you think we are, Neil Gaiman?
Yeah.
Or George R. Martin?
Yeah.
Oh, that one.
Yeah.
Sorry, I couldn't
Anyway.
resist.
Oh, I know.
We're
that
not-
one. That one's just gonna be an easy punchline from here until the end of forever.
Forever.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
He's never finishing those books. It's
Nope.
never happening.
Nope. Rothfuss will finish his last book in the trilogy of his before George R.R. Martin, I'm thinking.
It's a race to the bottom with those two.
Yep.
It's
I mean, I
kinda
love
like,
Rothfuss. I love him,
Mhm.
but we'll see.
it's kind of like to use a sports analogy. You have your tank bowl every year. It's the team in whatever sport that has a draft. It's like, who can be the worst, who can lose, so they can get that number one draft pick the next year.
Mhm.
And it's like, oh no, you won, you screwed up your tank. It's like that. Martin and Rothfuss are like, who's gonna blink first and actually finish something, and neither gonna do it.
Yeah.
It's even harder with those two because they're not on a timer, and they like nobody has to win.
No.
And I'm like,
Nobody's
well,
on the clock. And there's nobody
yeah.
going, hey, see the time?
Nobody's bothering to be like, hey, can we get an update here? Not everybody's nice enough to keep us abreast of what's going on, like Jim Butcher. So
Right,
Yes.
yeah.
Jim Butcher actually gives his fans fairly good updates and things. So anyone, I'm gonna say this. Anyone who is comparing Jim Butcher to Martin and Rothfuss needs to raise your hand. Now slap yourself 5 times with that hand, because you're an idiot.
Because at least Butcher's like, hey guys, yes, I've been busy, but here.
yeah.
And he also produces pretty
Yes.
regularly. Maybe it's slowing down a little bit, but for a while it was like a book a year.
He still does
a lot.
pretty good about keeping people abreast at least what series he's actively working on. Like he was working on other stuff, but now that he's caught up with that, he has let people know that he is actively back working on the Dresden Files. So
okay, so I can probably squeeze in a re-listen. Okay.
Yeah, you got time. It's gonna be a hot minute, but Dresden is actively being worked on when he's not busy.
Yes.
He was at Dragon Con this last weekend, so
yeah. And honestly, I will say, now I know Dresden Files is his best and most well-known and most popular, but Codex Alera is actually quite good.
Yes.
So you can try that out.
Yep.
If you need your Jim Butcher fix.
Yep.
It's Cinder Spires, but I need to. I've heard good things about it. So.
And his son James is no slouch when it comes to writing either. He has Dead Man's Hand, which I read, and it's awesome. And book 2 in that series is supposed to be coming out sometime in the near future.
Yep. So there you go. There's plenty to read and to enjoy.
Yeah.
And if you need more recommendations, I have. Well,
send us an email.
I have some. Yeah, send us an email, and maybe we will have an episode where we go over that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Well, I think I already. So I think was it the last time we recorded Gold Standard, or was it when Nick was on that we got him like, okay, I'm going to give the Dresden Files a shot. So I can't remember now, but
that might have been Gold Standard because I don't remember us veering in towards Dresden.
I think it was because I think I was talking about how I met James, so and the Dresden Files, and how at least in the people I encountered, most people know him as Spike from Buffy and not the Dresden Files, but somehow Nick got convinced that he should give the Dresden Files a shot. So I was like,
absolutely.
Oh boy, this is going to be,
to quote Ghostbusters, we got it right. We got one. So
we got a live one.
One of us.
Oh, I can't wait for his reactions when he gets to certain stuff.
Just so you know, the first one is the worst. They get better.
Yep.
Not to say that the first one is bad. What I'm saying is he improved.
It's a little clunky, but it's good. It's still good.
It's so good. So
So what we're really trying to say is while the actors and writers strike continues,
Yes.
as they should, there's a reason that Labor Day is a
Yes.
holiday that exists.
Yes.
They're a prime example of it.
Mhm.
There is still plenty to keep you entertained, and if you need suggestions, we are here.
Oh yes.
Oh. I am like, let me show you my recommendations as I roll out the scroll and it goes out the door. Figures.
Yes.
Mhm.
Or the meme of Will Smith with both of his hands going wide. Yeah.
Mhm.
Lucky.
If you ever watch Good Mythical Morning with Rhett and Link, and when they play shuffleboard and they bust out the scroll of rules, our scroll is bigger.
Yep.
So
Yep. And I'm always, and as a librarian, I'm always finding new and wonderful things. So that's just part of my job. But it's a great part of my job. One of my favorite parts of my job. I do story time once a month, or once a
basically,
week,
our
which I love.
recommendations are like the TARDIS.
yes.
Big.
Yes. And if you
Bigger
have
on the inside.
Oh,
Yes.
Speaking of which, duh, why didn't I bring this up earlier? Jared's next book is out.
Yes.
Hey, see, there you go.
Yes.
There we go. Homecoming in Black, book 6 of
Yes.
the Morgan Black Chronicles, and this one is a doozy. So if you have been keeping up with the thing, in fact, maybe I will drop the link so we can put it in our show notes so that people can buy it, or it is on Kindle Unlimited. So you have a Kindle Unlimited account. I had to think of the word. You have a Kindle Unlimited account. That's included. But yes, they're as the title suggests, they are going back to Morgan's home world, and oh boy, the fireworks are about to go off, man. It's gonna get crazy up in here.
Yep.
So, and I'm not just saying this because it's my husband, and good sales help me. But no, it is a legitimately awesome book, and I'm not just saying that. But yeah, it's very exciting when you get to new book out. And I know a lot of people, including some in our listener audience, have been reading the series. So
yep.
Please go check it out.
It's like having another child. Somebody asks, how many children do you have? And they're like, well, humans too. Made out of paper.
And Jared has written
8,
paper and
10?
digital.
Yeah.
Okay, so this was book 6 in this series, and then he's got Penny Dreadful's story. He's got the superhero romance, and he's got the magical girl send up. So 9, and then there's got a few like short stories and a couple of anthologies, which apparently actually won some kind of award. Like the anthology as a whole did.
Nice.
I can't remember what the award was. It was some sort of indie thing, but it was the Planetary anthology series. Was like somebody was like doing books that were themed around the different planets and the mythology and whatnot, and he had one in Saturn, which was like themed around youth and time and something else. Anyway, it was a good one. So I don't know if it's available because there was some issue with that in Amazon, but Jared just wrote the story. He wasn't involved in publishing it. That was somebody else. But they invited him to publish, and he did. So anyway, I'm stalling because I'm trying to pull up the link so I can drop it in the show notes so it can be shared on our thing.
As long as you get it in there before the show's published, it'll be fine. Yes. I know you're doing it while you're thinking about it. It's one of those like, if I don't do it now, I'll forget.
Yeah, if I don't do it now, it ain't getting in, and then it'll go up, and I'm like, crap, I forgot. The show will go up, and I'll be like, I forgot to do the thing. So anyway, Homecoming in Black. And if you haven't read all of them, they're all linked on this link, so you'll be able to find the whole series. So there you go. Oof, this link. Amazon links. So much fun. I trust Rachel.
Yeah.
Sit and make it look pretty.
Yeah.
So anyway, but no, I'm excited. We've been excited. This one took some time to get out just because work has been crazy for both of us. Summer's been crazy. Or life with kids is always crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And
And wasn't
Finally,
there
we
some
got it.
hard drive issues too at one point in time?
Yes. So yeah, he writes sometimes. If there's a little downtime at work, he will write. He keeps everything on his little flash drive. Well, the computers at work apparently don't like his flash drive, so it kept corrupting the files. And it's a good thing. And he started emailing me what he had worked on that day, just so he had it somewhere, because it was becoming a problem. So there were hard drive issues. We also we had to get a new desktop computer because the laptop was fine, but it wasn't cutting mustard much anymore. I mean, it still works, but we needed a bit of an upgrade. So it's been a crazy year, but it's like, oh good, we got this book out. It's awesome. And he's finishing up another one that he started right after Alex was born, and I had to shelve it for a bit. But now it's almost done. So that one is hopefully going to be out maybe by the end of the year. We'll find out.
Cool.
Totally different series. Well, not even a series. It'll be a standalone. But yeah, anyway, my husband writes books and they're lovely. People say they're fun. So I'm not just saying that because I'm the proud wife. I'm saying that because people actually said so. Anyway, people read it and said they liked it. And total strangers even. Not anyone, not people necessarily that we knew.
Not
so
wild.
Anyway, I know it's kind of insane. Like he can on the dashboard, like the author side, whatever publisher side of Kindle, he can look at it and he can see like where people have bought it, and he's like, it'll show him like you're getting paid in euros or Australian dollars or whatever the currency is in India, because he's actually got people who bought it from India.
Oh, cool.
And all those different things. Australia, actually, how did he put it? Percentage-wise, his best audience or biggest audience outside of the United States is actually Australia.
Cool.
And he's like, if I ever go do a convention down there, I'm like, you're gonna have to. It's like someone else is gonna have to pay for your plane ticket, dear.
Yeah.
But thanks to the Australian readers, and we're glad you like it. It makes me giddy to think Australia, huh? That's pretty cool. And India, and definitely some customers in Germany as well.
Very nice.
Kind of crazy what happens. But anyway, well, I guess we better wrap this up. Otherwise, I'll just keep going.
Yeah. Hey, we're all for shameless self-promotion around here.
Yes.
So
yes. Sorry, I was like, oh right, I need to. Anyway, if our listeners want to chime in with their feedback about anything we talked about in this episode, whether it's Doctor Who or any of our other news items, write us some feedback if you would be so kind. Our email address is fiveishfangirls@gmail.com, and our website, which has links to all of our social media and the show notes and other fun things, is Book Club. Yes, and the Book Club is thefivishfangirls.com. You can leave comments on our website. You can also leave comments on our Facebook and Twix. I'm calling it Twix now because it's the best of both worlds. Also, I like chocolate, and Twixes are my favorite, so we're gonna go with it. So yes, so we're there. And we also have a Patreon and a merch shop if you want to support us monetarily, which of course we appreciate. And thank you for those who do support us there. It is, we are very grateful, and very grateful to all our listeners and our people who interact with us on all our social media places, YouTube, Instagram, all that great stuff. And don't forget to check out all the videos from PopCon that Rachel posted.
And Gen Con.
Gen Con, yeah. I had to think.
There's still video from PopCon to come. So,
okay, yeah. So look out for that.
All of Michael Rooker's shenanigans with the Ghostbusters as well.
Yeah. So there is more fun to be had. So check out our YouTube channel as well, which again is linked on our website, thefivishfangirls.com. And that's it. So thanks for listening, and thanks for being our number one fans.
Mm-hmm.
Give it to all of
Yes, all right. So with that, we shall sign off for this week.
This is Chrissy saying goodnight from Salt Lake City.
This is Sally from Wisconsin saying good evening.
And this is Rachel in Indianapolis, Indiana. I've got to fire up my connection. Got to see what they're saying on the message boards about this. Thank you for listening to the Fiveish Fangirls. Please visit thefiveishfangirls.com for details on how to further support the show, along with information on our nonprofit, Fangirls Give Back. We love our Fiveish fam and appreciate all of your feedback, shares, and encouragement. Remember to keep letting your geek flag fly.